This video includes an explanation of the flash codes for ADP's RDS kit and solutions for each flash code. The mitigation board hosts a LED which will provide a status on the system's operation. When the LED is flashing green, the RDS is initializing and no action is required. When the LED is a solid green, it indicates that the RDS is monitoring and no action is required. If a blue flash is present with the solid green LED, this is an indication that a mitigation process has previously occurred in the system. When the LED is only flashing blue, a leak is detected and the system needs to be checked and repaired before restarting the equipment. When the LED is solid blue with 1 to 6 red flashes, an issue is present in the system which needs to be resolved. Solid blue with 1 red flash indicates a sensor fault, which means a sensor will need to be replaced. This happens when the board senses a connection to a sensor, but the sensor lacks a correct signal. Solid blue with 3 red flashes indicates an incompatible sensor type, which means the sensor will need to be replaced with a compatible sensor. Solid blue with 4 red flashes indicates a sensor communication issue. In this instance, check that the connection is clean and tight on the mitigation board. This happens when there is a bad connection to a sensor, or if there is no sensor detected by the board. Solid blue with 5 red flashes indicates a bad relay or bad wiring. To solve for this, use a multimeter to ensure there is approximately 24 volts AC on the R and common terminals. This is required for the RDS to function. If there is not 24 volts AC at these inputs, then the furnace and thermostat wiring will need to be revisited. Solid blue with 6 red flashes indicates an invalid configuration or sensor count. When seeing this, review the dip switch settings and ensure it matches the correct number of sensors being used in the system. Each dip switch corresponds to a sensor position. The default factory switch positions are set to off. The RDS control software reads the off position as active. For use with a single sensor, sensor position 1 will need to be set in the off position, and sensor 2 will need to be set in the on position. Configurations with more than one sensor will require both dip switches to be in the off position. A test button is made available on the mitigation board to perform various functions on the system. Under normal operation, pressing the test button will trigger a leak detection response to verify all equipment is wired and operating correctly. Short and long presses of the test button have different effects on the operation of the RDS depending on the status of the system. During the initializing of the system, there is a 5-minute purge after the sensor establishes the connection with the RDS board. A short press of the test button will skip this 5-minute period if the sensor enumeration is complete. A long press of the test button during the initializing process will reset the control board to normal operation. It's important to ensure the board is reset after each service so it resumes normal operation without faults. When the system is monitoring, a short press of the test button will clear the purge counter if prior mitigation has occurred, or if no mitigation has occurred, a short press of the test button will test the mitigation function. A long press of the test button during monitoring of the system will reset the control board and return it to normal operation. While the RDS is running a mitigation test, a short press of the test button will end the mitigation test. If a fault is being experienced, a short press of the test button will tell the system to reevaluate the fault condition. If the fault is cleared, then the system will return to monitoring, otherwise it will update the LED to reflect any faults. A long press of the test button during a fault will reset the control board. However, if the fault is not resolved, the board will default back to the fault code. Once all faults have been resolved and the board has been cleared, test the system for correct operation before leaving it with your customer. Find this video helpful? Subscribe to the Wolf Steel technical page for more installation and troubleshooting videos.